Coffee, coffee, coffee. Oh, what a wonderful thing. Coffee, coffee, coffee. On Sunday makes me sing. Oh, coffee is a wonder. I wonder who discovered a way to make the coffee and how they were uncovered. A coffee, coffee, coffee. Coffee makes me sing. A Sunday morning coffee. Oh, what a wonderful thing. So dark and rich and brown and roasted round and round and full of taste and caffeine, but never makes a sound. That's just a little impromptu coffee song because your Sunday morning needed that. I could tell. Okay, it is just after 8:30 on Sunday morning, and it's one of those every other Sundays that I have told you about before. You've heard me say it, and I'll say it again. Today is the day for Sunday morning live with Ron. And today is the 17th. It is a new year. Haven't seen you all in a while. Hi, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, because I missed you. Forgive me, my throat, my voice is a little bit deep today. It's because I have a bit of a sore throat. I'm pretty sure it's just cold. Otherwise, not feeling bad at all. So, be that as it may, what do we do? Sunday morning, live with Ron. Well, let's start with the basics. I'm Ron from ronalcottphotography.com. There you go. Okay. And that's why it's called Sunday Morning Live with Ron, because you're here with me, and it's Sunday morning. And it's live right now, unless you're watching a replay, in which case it's not live, but it still was live. It was live now, but it's not live in your now, if that makes any sense, because time is relative, and nobody likes all their relatives. So if you don't like it, hey, move on. It's Ron from ronalcottphotography.com. What we do here on Sunday mornings is I'm going to show you my latest pictures, and we have a bunch of them today. Welcome to whoever's there on Facebook. Glad to see you. And I'm going to show you, as I said, my pictures. I've got a bunch because I skipped at least one session during the holidays, so I've got a double batch of pictures to get through. That's why I'm talking fast. The other thing that we do is we're going to recap the lessons that we were doing before the holidays about taking sharp pictures. Okay, so one thing you can't save in post-processing. If your picture is not sharp, your picture is not sharp, and that's pretty much the end of it. And if you've traveled halfway around the world to have a vacation or just to take pictures or whatever you're doing over there, you want your pictures to come home sharp. Okay, then you can work with them. So in the meantime, So we're going to recap all of that, and then I'm going to jump out behind me. Okay, I don't know. You can see behind me. I've got the door open here. I'm going to sneak out into my backyard where my Sony A6000 is living right this moment. You saw him earlier. There he is. Okay, and we're going to demonstrate all of those techniques. So got a lot to cover. Got a lot of announcements. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Hang on one second while I reset something here. There we go. So we are ready to go and talk about our pictures. Okay, this first one is called Black and White in Black and White. It is a picture of the bluff, some rocks that are in the bluff that is Maury Bluff at Rockaway Beach in Pacifica, California. You may have heard that term from me before. That is someplace that I like to go. It's a lovely, lovely little part of the coast without a lot of pretension and snobbery and snickery. They just don't like outsiders much. It's not that they're snobs, they just don't like you. So black and white in black and white. These are actually black and white rocks, and I rendered them as a black and white photo. Taken on a hike or not a hike. I was down there actually delivering a photo in January of last year, just about a year ago now. The next one is called Aztec Dancer 6. Okay. And the subtitle is Dancing Isn't Just for Children. Here's a woman, full-grown woman, and she has on her full regalia, and she's dancing with the Aztec dancers. Now, this is 6, so if you've looked at my site before, you know that I have other Aztec dancers on there from that same day. This is a festival that I went to with a friend last December. Well, not last December, December a year ago. December 2019, back when we could still have festivals. Welcome whoever joined on Facebook. Glad to see you. So this was an Aztec festival that I went to with my then quite new camera. And I managed to get a lot of really, really nice pictures that I really like this one because while it froze her in a moment, it shows all the movement of all the feathers. And the only thing it can't show is the marvelous sound of all the rattles. Hi, Cheryl. You're not too late. We only saw one picture so far. Aztec Dancer 6. Here, let me get that banner out of the way. There. So you can see the whole thing. There. Aztec Dancer 6. The next one is called Unexplained Architecture 1. This little feature is called a cupola. Okay. It's often used places where that are close to the seashore, and this is close to the seashore. Traditionally, they were used as lookouts. Then they were used as sort of ventilation shafts. And then they became ornamental, and I think this is one of the ornamental ones. It may be hard to tell on your computer screen, but all the windows are kind of broken out, and I expect that there are a bunch of pigeons because there's a bunch of pigeons sitting on the roof. I bet there's a bunch of pigeon nests in there. So hopefully that doesn't actually tie into their building anywhere. I just thought it was a nice line with this nice roof line, the very empty sky that day, very clear blue skies. And then this cupola sort of poking up from the roof behind. So this one's called Unexplained Architecture 1, because I expect there will be more. This one was taken on the same day. It was January 11th, a year ago. So I went down there for the whole day. I had to deliver a photo to Pacifica, to, what is it called? I forget their name. Okay. But anyway, I had to deliver a photo down there at Rockaway Beach, and I spent the whole day taking pictures. And while I was hiding from the wind in my car in a parking lot, the young lady in the party dress came out, evidently had been stuck at a grown-up party and was wearing a party dress. I'm sure she was thrilled to get all dressed up to go to this party, but somewhere in the middle of the afternoon, the party lost its appeal, and she probably looked out the window because this little girl in the jeans had been riding this scooter around for quite a while. So this girl came out from the, get rid of that. Stop that. This girl came out from the place where the party was being held. It's called Rockaway Beach Hotel. And started negotiating to take a ride on the scooter, which she did. She rode the scooter for 4 or 5 minutes before somebody caught her and called her back inside. I just thought it was pretty funny. Have her out here in this party dress negotiating with this other little girl in order to ride the scooter in the middle of the party. Welcome to whoever else joined on Facebook. Glad to see you. This one is called Mount Keddie, Keddie. This is taken from Chester, California, across Lake Almanor. That's that little blue line you see there. And this is sort of the biggest peak in the area. It was taken this summer over Labor Day weekend. And it, so we got some nice highlights in the sky from all of the smoke that was going on up there. I actually had gone to Chester because I was on my way up to Lassen Volcanic National Park. When I got up there, not only were the roads so narrow they scared the whatever out of me, but the smoke was closing in from the forest fires. So I only took a very few pictures up there at the very first stop, and then came back down the hill. But this was actually taken my first night that I arrived in Chester. It's right across the street from the Bidwell House Bed and Breakfast Inn, which is where I stayed while I was in Chester. Highly recommended. Really one of the nicer places I've stayed lately. Great people, great breakfast, 2 great breakfasts, and I really enjoyed that stop. Okay, so this is Mount Keddie. This one is called I Pine for You. Welcome whoever joined to Facebook now. It's a white pine cone. This was taken actually across on that other side of that lake that you saw in the prior picture. Again, that first night that I arrived, I drove over. I actually was looking for some food, but they had a power failure that afternoon. When I arrived, all of the power was out. So none of the restaurants opened back up, even though the power came back on about 6 or 7 at night. Because of restrictions, they were going to have to close at 8, so every place was closed. Luckily, I think I had some cheese and crackers, and I did not starve to death, and was able to come and show you this pine cone, because otherwise you would have been missing a pine cone in your life. This one is called I Pine for You. These are taken at Yosemite, at the new Mariposa Grove Welcome Center, which is just inside the north gate of Yosemite National Park. I was there in late October. This flower is called a spring Medea, and hence the name of this piece is not spring anymore since it was taken in the fall. I like the fact that I have this seed casing, flowers still growing, flowers completely shot. All of the leaves have died off, but it's still trying to be bright and cheerful and live up to its springtime name. So it's called Not Spring Anymore, taken in Yellowstone National Park. Not Yellowstone, Yosemite. I haven't been to Yellowstone since I was a kid. Well, not necessarily. I was out of college the last time I was in Yellowstone. I'll get to Yellowstone again sometime. This one, again, Yosemite National Park. This is a detail off of El Capitan. The famous sheer cliff of El Capitan ends right there, and there's a little extra wave behind it that has these details up here. At least that's where my best recollection of this is. I'm very bad at taking notes when I'm someplace about what my photos are. But the photos surrounding this are of El Capitan. So it's got to be El Capitan. Quite interesting, I have not been able to find online any other pictures of this particular feature of that rock face. So, interesting. Man, my computer, this is a new computer since the last time you saw me. It's just putting up all kinds of alerts. Obviously, I didn't turn enough stuff off. But that's called El Capitan Detail from Yosemite National Park. Beep, 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 burp, burp, burp. All right. This one is called Oakland Skyline. It's taken from the Richmond Inner Harbor. There's a little park right there at the end of the Inner Harbor. And I know you guys can't see it, but my alerts are just making me crazy today. So this is the Oakland skyline. These larger hotels right in the front that you see are, something is making this jump all over the place. I don't like this at all. It's just a slight, something's too sensitive on this new computer. Anyway, Oakland skyline. Okay, these are actually in Emeryville, which is between me and Oakland, but the taller buildings in the back are actually in Oakland. Okay? Oakland skyline. Next, we have, from the same place, looking in a slightly different direction, it's called A Simple Escape. This is called Baker's Island. Nobody's quite sure who the Bakers were, but that's what it's called, Baker's Island. Come back here. Wow, this display is just making me nuts. All right, let's go back to Baker's Island. There we go. Baker's Island. Again, right across from the little park there by Richmond, California, Inner Harbor. A lot of interesting history, but that is the caretaker's cottage. They have a full-time caretaker. It's now part of the National Regional Shoreline, I believe. It's been in a bunch of different things. This one is called Pulling into the Station. Okay. And it is the number 7 Skookum pulling into Sunol Station, ready to take us on our photography journey. I went for a full day down to Niles Canyon Railway. Marvelous bunch of people, marvelous, marvelous service. Loved the trip. When they open again, I highly recommend that you go visit them. They run historic train rides. Not all of them are steam, but this day we did get to follow this steam engine, number 7 Skookum, up and down the Niles Canyon, which if you've ever driven it, is just a beautiful, beautiful place. And spent the whole day doing that. So that was a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. And at the end of the day, I was headed back to my car and found this beautiful view of the Sunol station as the sun went down behind it. So there is the Sunol station. Hang on, I've got to jump back here, see if anybody. Yeah, that's the neighbor's pup, Cheryl. My neighbor has at least 2 dogs, and they don't like it when I come back out in the backyard and talk, which I haven't done in a long time. So they're reacting to me being. I'm not actually in the outdoors. I'm in my bedroom, but the door behind me is open so they can hear me this morning. I don't know what is causing all this screen jump. I'm glad you can't see it, but it's making me crazy. Something is way too sensitive. Anyway, Sunol Station. This one is called Flying by Wire, and you may not be able to see it on a little screen, but there's an airplane right here. Okay, and there's wires here. And the reason that it's called fly-by-wire is because there are 2 different ways in which airplanes are controlled. The classic way, up until at least the last 20 years, I have not checked in recently, but the classic way is that airplanes are actually flown by cables. Okay, the servers that move the cables are in the cockpit, right at the control where the pilot changes them. Okay, and when I was last in the airline industry, many years ago now, it was brand new that some aircraft was coming out that was going to be fly-by-wire, which meant that rather than having the controls actually send a signal down an electrical wire instead of the controls being attached to the servo that actually moves the thing. In fly-by-wire, the controls are attached to electrical wires, which sends the impulse out to the servo, which is in the flaps or in the rudder or wherever the actual movement is going to take place. And that was considered quite controversial at the time. So I'm telling you, oops, that was a mistake. Something is making it think that I have pressed it when I haven't. All right. What is wrong with this picture? Now I can't find my controls. Hang on. There they are. All right. The next one is called Solstice Moon. You may have heard, let's go back, you may have heard that over the winter solstice on December 21st, we had a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, which I did not get a good picture of because I don't have quite enough horsepower in my lens to do something that close. But I did get this very, very nice picture of the half moon that evening while I was waiting for the sun to finish going down. So this is called solstice moon. This one was taken New Year's Day this year. I went for a walk and, oops, there, I pinned your comment there quite by mistake, Cheryl. This one's called Healthy Break. I went for a walk on New Year's Day with a special friend. As we were coming back from our walk, these two cyclists were across the street, taking a break on some rocks there. I like the vividness of their colorful outfits against all those different greens of the foliage that they were sitting next to. All right, next. And the last one, since I've used up almost a full half hour on this, is called Geese on Parade. That same day, we were actually trying to go to Almaden Lake, which is the water you see behind the geese there. And in order to prevent crowds from gathering, the county had closed the park, Lake Park, that day. But I was able to shoot this through the fence. And as I stood there watching them, the geese suddenly got up and just marched single file to a whole different part of the parking lot. So they were fun to watch. And then they went by this particular little lady just sitting in this median, and it really looked like they were putting on a parade for her. So this is called Geese on Parade. So just to recap really quickly, okay? Black and white on black and white. Aztec Dancer 6. Unexplained Architecture 1. Traja. Mount Ketty, I Pine for You. Not Spring Anymore. El Capitan Detail. All right, let's do this then. 1 second. Thank you, Cheryl. Mic, audio. Let's go to here. There, can you hear me now? That should have done it. You should be able to hear now. Do you hear it now? Turn that one off. All right. Yeah. So I'll have to grab my batteries when I go outside. I used up all of my wireless. So when I get ready to move outside, I'll switch back onto the wireless. So here we go with our lesson for the day. Oh, but wait, there's more. I wanted to do announcements. First off, we do this again in 2 weeks, which will be around the beginning of February sometime. Okay. Looks like that will be, no, January 31st. Okay, so still in January. All right. So January 31st, we will do this again. And then I am doing a drawing right now for this particular print, which is The Aspiration of Art. Okay, on metallic paper. It's a 12 by 8. I have to be careful with this one because I didn't pack it right. It's a $91 value. It will be signed. It will be dedicated. It includes the shipping. When you win with me, you win. You don't have to like pay me to win. So if you haven't already signed up for the newsletter, do go to my website and sign up for the newsletter. What website, you say? Why, that would be ronalcottphotography.com. Okay, that website there. At the top, you'll see a banner, and in that banner is a link that says that, gee whiz, you should sign up to win this free print if you're not already in the newsletter. If you get the newsletter, do not dismay. There will be one out today. Okay, I got lost over Christmas, so don't mind me. But there will be one out today. Newsletter subscribers always get early notification on special events and special pricing. They also get special discount codes. When I am running a sale, they can always get a little bit more discount than the people who don't follow the newsletter. So it's worthwhile to be on my newsletter, and I think I'm pretty clever. It's not a sales pitch. It is really just a newsletter. Okay. Wow, I've lost everything here. I can't see what I'm doing at all. There I am. Okay, so that's what you want to do. You want to get signed up for the newsletter, right? We all agree on that. Then we've got that. We're down to the last 5. So you can be one of the few people to get my 2021 calendar, okay, which has all these lovely pictures in it. All right. So aren't they nice? All of these pictures were taken, by the way, at Rockaway Beach, which I've mentioned before because I had some pictures from Rockaway Beach. All right. There's another one. Let's close that. See, you can see me, but my monitoring function has gone away. Okay. I want this one. So anyway, with all these beautiful pictures, you get 365 days in a row. Okay. You see here, this is January, and it's reminding me not to go to work tomorrow because tomorrow is a holiday. So it's useful. It's useful on many accounts, and it comes free with all these great pictures. So get yourself a calendar. That's also on the website. So be sure to go to the website, check everything out, get into the giveaway, get a calendar, get some prints, get some limited editions, get some merchandise. Wow, I've added merchandise. I now have mugs, puzzles, tote bags, and something of pillows, okay, for every single thing on my site. Okay, those are all turned on. So we've got a new feature that you can get a tote bag of any image on the site. So that's worthwhile checking out. So you just go to the regular product page and you'll see those as options of what surface would you like this on. Okay. That's how you access those. Get rid of that. Where to next? Okay, next we're going to go and do our lesson for today because we're going to run out of time. And where's the image that goes with that? This one. There. Okay. So if you watched any of the prior episodes before Christmas, then you saw that we were using this particular piece from f-stoppers, okay, to wow, it's just going crazy. I mean, it's just going crazy. This particular piece from f-stoppers as our source material on how to capture sharp photographs. All right, and we're just going to recap today. Let me see if I can get my scroll over top of that. No, I lost. I mean, it just is nuts. I don't know what's wrong with it. Okay. So, what are the various reasons that could cause you to not have sharp pictures? I apologize. This is technologically a mess. I think in the future I'll just use my old computer, which does great at this stuff. It just didn't have enough horsepower to do all my photo editing anymore. So I'll leave this one at home on the desk, and we'll use the other one,
hey, how's it going? This is Chris.
which is less. Started trying to talk about anyway. So first thing that can cause problems with your sharpness is optics. You have to have a good lens. The better your lens, the better your optics. Okay, the better your sharpness is, and that's just universal. Okay, what makes a good lens? Well, money is usually a good indicator of a good lens. Okay. The second is getting a lens that's called a prime lens. That is, it only has one aperture setting. Okay. And the lower the number, which means the bigger the opening, excuse me, no, a prime lens only has one focal length. It can have multiple. Sorry, I really am sorry. This has gotten outrageous. It can have multiple settings. Okay, but the bigger your minimum f-stop is, okay. For example, my zoom lens, which is not the one I'm using today, the biggest aperture I can get is an f3.6, okay, which is not very big, okay, compared to say an f1.4, okay. F1 is 100% open, so 1.4 is pretty well wide open. I cannot see. Nice. Are we there yet? Okay. Tells you what makes a good lens. Okay. Then if you're using filters, it's important that you have a filter that's at least as good a quality as the lens that you're using. You don't want to put a cheap piece of glass in front of your expensive piece of glass. Okay. They also tell you to get a step-up ring. Okay. Lenses have different sizes of openings at the end. So if you're going to use filters, get one that will work on the biggest diameter lens that you have, and then use adapter rings on your smaller. So spend the money on good filters, and then you can just get step-up rings that will make that filter work with all your different sizes of lenses. rather than have us spend a lot of money on a lot of filters. There he is. Super telephotos are nice if you can get them. Okay, so the next thing that can cause you not to have sharp pictures is the focus. Okay, you have to know about depth of field. You have to know about being in focus, how to control your autofocus so that you're focused on the things that you want. Okay. And then depth of field. And then he talks about rocking back and forth. If you're using something with a very wide aperture, then you know you have a very narrow depth of field. Okay. So you might try taking several shots, just rocking forward a couple inches, rocking backwards a couple inches, and take several shots so that your depth of field is exactly where you want it to be, particularly when you're dealing with a very narrow depth of field. All right. Then you can have aperture problems. Find the best f-stop to hide your lens flaws. Okay. You can get noise that will affect your sharpness. If you're shooting it too high in ISO, then your picture will get noisy, and you can, I really wish to hell I knew what was touching that. Okay. Man, oh man, oh man. So anyway, and then shutter speed. Okay, shutter speed is your biggest control against motion blur. Okay, now sometimes you do want a little motion blur to indicate something is moving if you have a moving target, but you don't want motion blur because your camera is moving. And the biggest way to control that is to shoot at a faster shutter speed, which may mean you have to turn up your ISO, which could cause noise. So you have to always find that balance. Okay, it's all about balance. All right, I apologize for the technical difficulties. You're not seeing them as much, but I'm having a hard time controlling my display. Flash, I don't do flash. All right, flash is not really, unless you're doing professional photography. You know, if you need a flash to capture a room full of people, then use it. But you're not, you have to have professional equipment in order to get good results with flash, because the flash on your camera is going to wash out everything. And you don't have any control over it for all intents and purposes. Okay. Bite me. Can you find half my stuff now? There it is. All right. So let's go here. Let's go back to me. All right. We're going to give up on that because I can't control it anymore. Amuse yourself for a couple seconds. And I'm sorry if you're putting in comments. I have lost control of my computer for all intents and purposes here. Let me look and see if there's anything happening in the comments. Looks like I got one new one. Yeah, I know. It looks like I'm fine. It's just that for me, I've got all these windows flashing up and over top of anything. So I'm going to switch it over to the outside camera, to my A6000. All right. And then give me a second, because I'm also going to switch my microphone back over but I have to go to the other room and grab some batteries for it. So all of that's going to happen while you gently amuse yourselves. All right, so I'm going to turn the audio. So I'll talk to you again in 1 second. Okay, that was what is known as dead air, to be avoided at all costs. Of course, unless the cost is your batteries died and you have to go replace them. So, sorry about the dead air. We're headed to the backyard to take control of that camera. All righty. So we're talking about sharp photos. Okay. The first thing they talked about was having good lenses. I don't have good lenses. I have the lenses that came with my camera. They're okay. They take nice pictures, but the pictures are not as nice as they could be. All right. So bear with me because I'm going to pop on and off because I can't really see what I'm taking pictures of. Okay. So right now we are set up for video mode. Okay. Woke him back up. Okay. I hope you can see all this. You won't just now. All right. So, what are some things that can help? Uh, Part of it is having good lenses. Okay. Next, we talked about uh, setting your shutter speed. Okay. Well, let me switch it over to shutter mode. Okay. And now we can set our shutter speed. You see what it's set at? It's set at 1/30th of a second. 1/30th of a second is pretty slow. See how it says 1/30th down in the bottom left corner? All right. So we're going to go there. Let me see if I can see anything. No, I can't see through the viewfinder. Can't see through anything in this mode. You used to be able to do this. So anyway, we're going to bring that up to 1/640th of a second. Now you'll see I've got my ISO set to auto. Okay, so it's going to adjust the ISO to account for that shutter speed automatically. If I half press, you will see what it picked for the ISO. Okay, and then we'll take the picture and then we'll display it. Okay, and you'll see again that came out pretty good. All right, I need to look at my f-stop. F5, so it's a sort of in between with ISO 100. All right. So if I take my f-stop, well, it's choosing the f-stop automatically. All right. Now I want to control the depth of field, so I'm going to go back to aperture mode. All right. And this is where we talked about the f-stops and how big you can get them. Okay. You'll see that the This is my most wide open lens, and my best f-stop on this is 3.5. Okay, so I'm only getting about a third of the light that the barrel of the lens could handle, just because it's the cheap lens that came with things. Okay, so but 3.5 will give me a very narrow depth of field. Okay, now I've set everything on autofocus here, just to stay tight. Okay, and again, we'll look at that one. It shows a very fast shutter speed this time, a 1/1250th of a second, which, as you see, gave us a pretty sharp image. All right. Nope. Here. Sorry to pop in and out like this. There. Going to zoom in, find the focal spot. It's not horribly sharp, for as good as that is. Okay, but you see it's pretty sharp in there. Okay. How can we make that better? We are going to switch over to up. Hang on while I set it here. At these speeds, I can actually try to use the viewfinder, but I don't think it's going to show me anything. I'm just having a difficult time today. I need to disconnect and see what it's telling me. Menu. Control for HDMI on. HDMI info display on. Remote control on. There is a way that even when I plug that in, it shows me what I need to see. In the meantime, I've switched over to manual focus. Okay, and as I move the barrel now, you will see things coming in and out of focus. All right, so I'm going to take offline, manually focus. Oops, nope. Now you're not seeing any of that, are you? There we go. Okay. There. Now we're in manual focus. I'm going to plug you back in so you can see things going in and out of focus while I change the focus ring. All right. I'm going to focus manually. No, I'm not in manual focus. Here we are. Hang on. There. Now I'm in manual focus. All right. There. Now you see all that bright stuff? That's the focus spots. Okay? That tells you I am hyper focused on those spots. So we're going to take a picture. We're going to look at it. While you're not looking, I'm going to zoom in. Nope. I'm going to zoom in. And we will see that for once I did a better job than my autofocus system. Okay. Pretty well in focus all over the place there. Okay. The next piece, motion blur. Your best friend for motion blur, okay, is going to be image stabilization, which in Sony is called OSS. which I can't remember what it means right now. I'm going to turn that back on. Let's go here. Function. Nope. Menu. Here. Function. Boom. Now I had it off while it was on the tripod. I'm also going to go back to automatic focus for single shot. All right. There we are. Okay. So now this should be even sharper. My shutter speed is so fast right now because it's so light out here that you won't see much of blur anyway. Okay. So this was not my best episode ever. I apologize for that. But that's what happens when you set up a new computer and try to do everything. So I'll make it up to you. I promise. Next one will be better. So that's the Sony A6000. That's my show today. I can't see anything on my computer. So let's see back here. Back. There I am. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for watching. I appreciate the couple people who dropped in on Instagram. And thank you, whoever that is. I can't even read. Hannah, for saying hi on Instagram. So that's our show. I hope I wasn't too babbly. Very, very frustrated by the reaction of this computer. As I said, I'll have a different setup next time. And life will be better. In the meantime, you be good to yourself. Be kind to other people. And become the person that you would like to meet. Peace out. You see, I really wish that it would end nicely when I say that, but I have to find and hit all these buttons, which is double hard today because things are